We are live. We are doing emotional gymnastics for real estate agents. This is our series we do every other week. There's anywhere from 2 to 4 of us that jump on here and talk about the emotional side of things. So long ago, we talked about IQ versus EQ, right? Your intelligence quotient versus your emotional quotient. And this week, Priyanka and I are talking about money is energy. Money is a very loaded side when it comes to emotions and stress and anxiety for both ourselves and our clients. And I told Priyanka the topic was money is energy. And she said,
I said, are you kidding me? What the hell are you talking about? Money is not energy.
And that's where we started. That was our framework. So she was like, okay, money's not energy. So she's like, what are you talking about? Money is energy. So originally, my name is Jesse Zagorski. I'm I'm a team leader in San Diego, California. Priyanka is an amazing real estate agent in Houston, Texas. And we had another guy who's on here every other week. His name is Jim Godwin. He suggested money was energy. That's where this idea came from. And I said, I like the idea.
I know, but I would think Jim would be the last person to say something like that.
Why is that?
Because I think of him more spiritual, not disconnected. How would you say that he's not at the same level as most of the people, that he's more evolved emotionally?
Right.
And I don't think that money will be the way I think the money is. Money is, for me, is a tool, right? It's a side effect of whatever you do. If you do something well, you're going to attract money. But most of the people are taught to go after money. Remember, we did a show about how at the start of the year, everybody's like, how many transactions are you going to do? How much, how many homes you're going to sell? What's the number? How much money do you want to make? And it really bothers me because you are concentrating on something that actually is not under your control. Like if you say, I want to make $100,000, that's not the thing. I mean, what are you going to do about it, right? That's the more important thing. But when you're focusing on money, you're focusing on a wrong thing. I mean,
so what do you focus on then? So because you said money is a tool, and actually, I mean, I both agree and disagree, but it's hard to argue with that money is a tool. But I do like the concept of money as energy. So why do you say that's crazy, right?
For me, money is more like a side effect, right? You take a pill and they say these are the side effects. Money is more of an after thought for me. I never do anything for like, oh, I'm going to make money kind of thing. It just surprises me every time. You know how many different businesses I have, right? And each business came because there was a problem that I needed to solve. Problem kind of showed up and I was like, okay, I need to solve it. It was not like, oh, there's a business opportunity and I'm going to make money and sat down and figured out like, it's going to make this much money. It was just simple. It was, there's a problem, I need to solve it. And there's like, it just grows and grows and grows. And suddenly you look back and like, what the heck? I have a very viable business going on.
How many businesses do you run?
4.
4. Okay. And have you ever run a business though that I mean, obviously one is real estate. You have a couple others. Have you ever run a business that didn't generate money though? I mean, is money always a side effect?
Always. Like my assisted living, right? Where I'm right now. All I wanted to do was, because I was getting calls from elderly people who had to give up their dogs to my sanctuary because they were moving into assisted living, and assisted living did not allow their pets to come with them. Right? So when you get 6 calls in a month, you say, there's a problem, I'm going to solve it. And how did I solve it? I'm a real estate investor. I will have one home and we'll just convert it kind of thing, right? It took much longer because I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to start an assisted living, and only assisted living I knew was those big buildings. So like, 80, 100, 40 people. So calling the bank and saying like, I need to start this because I want people to have their pets with them. It's not right that they have to separate with their pets. They have to give up their home, everything in life that accumulated, everything kind of gets left behind, and they move into this one-room assisted living where just, it's not fair to the dogs and it's not fair to the human being. That was my thing. And then from there, it was like, oh, you can start something which is a small home. I said, okay, I'm a real estate investor. I can have one of my properties converted into assisted living. It just kept rolling into something where it evolved, right? And all I wanted to do was solve that problem because there were people and pets that are getting separated. And turns out it's a great business. I never thought about it, but that's the business that saved me during COVID, when all the real estate agents and all the real estate was dead. What was bringing
Interesting.
money for my sanctuary? Because remember, the real estate for me is not the real estate business. It's the tool for me to help pay for my bills, my vet bills, and everything that my dogs need. Whole thing revolves around that sanctuary. My
Yeah.
passion, my life, my calling is taking care of older dogs, hospice dogs, special need dogs. And I need money for that. That's the only reason I got into real estate, not to make money, just to pay bills.
I love it. And Spencer Smith has put into the chat box, he said, money is a lagging indicator. I totally agree. Money is a lagging indicator. You agree with that, Priyanka?
Lagging indicator?
Yeah, like you have lead indicators and lagging indicators, right? So when you're saying it's the same thing as, right, you said that, like, I mean, Jake typed there, money is a side effect of success, right? That's what you're talking about. Money is a side effect. So
you focus
on the things that you focus on the things that solve the problem, you're going to end up spitting out money on the back end. It's the lag, right? Your
not just the problem. Like if you do something good, so many artists who are really good that started putting stuff on Etsy, right? They're really good at, they're really passionate about it. And suddenly it's growing. Look at those people who do, like, so in India, right? There is this little stall, food stall, which is like hole in the wall, not even a hole, full hole, right? It's not a shop or something. This guy started serving this particular food on street corner. And he's really, really, really good. Years later, he has, like, the whole street is bought out because now he has kids and grandkids. He's still serving the same food. He has this one thing. That's it. It's not a large menu. And people come from all over the city to have that food at his stall because he's really good at it and he's really passionate about it. And he serves it with love. And he attracted money. Like, I'm pretty sure he was a poor guy who was sitting on a street corner trying to just make a living. And he attracted money there. He owns the whole street now. And he still serves. He's still the same humble guy who just wants to feed people his particular recipe. That's it.
It's so cool. I love it. I love it. Right? So I have an affirmation that goes along with your problem solving. If anyone wants to write down, this is my favorite affirmation. And I used to write down every day for years. I wrote this down. I would say, I am a creative, solution-oriented, problem-solving machine. I'm a creative, solution-oriented, problem-solving machine. That's just, I think your brain works like that, Priyanka. Like, you're always looking at the world and figuring out what are the problems and how do we solve them, right?
It's just like, it's something that I can't help, right? So I'm wired that way. If there's a problem, I'm going to solve it.
Yeah.
Remember my Airbnb business? How did it came about? I had a client who was from out of country and he was frustrated, or his family rather was frustrated that, oh my God, he's going every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning and then coming late in the night. And wife was stuck at the hotel with 2 kids, 2 boys, 7, 8 years old, driving her nuts. And I was like, one of my flips that was ready, had a pool and everything is stayed. They can go and spend a weekend. And that at that moment, I was trying to solve a small problem. Like, family is falling apart. They need time versus looking at home. Send them over. And then I get a call from the company and say, like, hey, can they stay over there because they're happy and we'll pay you what we are paying to Marriott, right? And I was just like, no. I need to sell my home. This is a flip. I need to get my money out and pay my lender and move on to my next flip because that's what I used to do. And they said, like, no, they really do not want to move out. So what can we do? I said, okay, how much you're paying? When they told me the amount, I said, what? Because they were paying exactly the same what they were paying Marriott per day, which is a big chunk of money for that home. Like, it was double the rent I would if I have done like regular rental. So I was like, I can live with that. Okay, let me give them the key and I will sell it, when I find them a home and they move out. And then they told the next person who was coming from UK, like, hey, talk to this lady. I'm moving out to my home. She helped me buy it, but you can live over here instead of hotel, right? All I was doing was solving a problem. Then it became like, okay, so Priyanka's clients have home to go to instead of the hotel. So we want to gonna use Priyanka as a realtor because she has this one extra thing that other realtors don't have.
Has that turned into a good source of business for you?
Homes, right? So I never wanted to do rentals. Why I wanted to do slaves? Because I hate typical boring rental business. Like, people love passive income. I'm not a passive kind of person, right? So I need to be involved and active. And doing that we started this furnished rental for corporations in 2007, 2008, before Airbnb was big. Airbnb actually came and ruined my business. I did really well with that business plus real estate. It was kind of attracting each other. So it started with like Priyanka's client will have it. Then other realtors who found out, was like, hey, can my client rent it? I'll say, I'll buy another home. Then I bought another home. And all we were doing furnished rental, no typical rental. I didn't have single regular rental. And I still don't. So from there, it was growing. And then people were finding like, oh, there's a furnished rental. They will call me and say like, hey, we are moving over here. Can we rent your home? You have a realtor? Oh, no, we are looking for one. Okay, we do the real estate also. Come on over. You stay in our home and then we will help you buy a home. So it's like self-feeding, kind of. It wasn't planned. All I was doing was solving a problem. There was never about money, but it grew. So money comes if you do the right thing. If you're solving a problem, you're helping somebody. It's just like, I'm not being able to say, oh, you're helping somebody. It's not like, I was getting paid for it, but there was a problem. I saw it and I didn't say like, this is a problem.
Right.
It wasn't my problem. Like that family was fighting, husband and wife was fighting. I felt bad for them.
Yeah.
And they had a problem and I was like, oh, what can I do? Right now, they need to go somewhere and spend time as a family. So we are not going to look for homes this weekend. We will start again tomorrow. Go and there's a swimming pool. So kids will love that. There was a swimming pool in a hotel also, right? They just needed that family time together.
So this is that's a good kind of transition. I'm curious because I guarantee you have an interesting perspective on this. When you talk about money with clients, right? So now we're talking about in the context of a transaction. If something is going to, right, there's money that comes up in a negotiation. You have a request for repairs. Do you handle discussions on money with your clients differently than other agents, do you think? Or how do you handle discussions on money with your clients?
No, I love negotiating. I say, I'm from India. We grew up haggling on streets, right? So if you have ever visited India, you will see anytime you go and start.
Oh, lost you.
Put in that. Anytime you're on the street buying something, you have to haggle. The price is almost like triple kind of thing. And it's just part of the culture, it's part of the thing. If you don't haggle, you actually insult the person who's selling, the vendor, right? It's like it's expected.
Right.
So that is like in my genes. I love negotiating. So that's what I tell my clients. You don't need to, I don't do listing presentation. I say, you don't need to know how I'm going to do it, what tools I'm going to use. Otherwise, if you want to learn all that, go get your own license. You're hiring me because I have the expertise. So if you're my buyer, you're going to pay the lowest price I can get for you. If you're my seller, I'm going to get you the highest price that I can get for you, because for me, this is an investment. I never see any real estate as, oh, it's just your home.
Right. So
I tell them, you have an emotional part and I have the financial part that I need to take care of. All I want you to do is like, when we walk into a home, see if it feels like your home, if you feel the energy, right? So unless until you love the home, we are not going to buy. I have clients that have looked for homes for 6 or 7 months. I have clients who have looked for a home for 2 or 3 days. Until they say like, yes, this is my home, I'm not going to let them buy. I never say like, oh, this house is this great thing, this house has that great thing. That conversation does not start until they say like, oh, I like the home, I feel the energy, I can see myself. Or they just start talking about it, then they're excited about it. And then I jump in. I think, yep, it's a great buy. Or like, hey, it's overpriced. No, it has been on the market for a long time, so we can negotiate or whatever that conversation is as a buyer. As a seller, it's completely different. It's just like, yeah, you're hiring me to get you the best price. And a lot of times it's like, oh, my number is this. I have clients where if you talk to them, they say, oh my God, that was so crazy. It happened very recently, 2 months ago. They were like, okay, what are we listing at? This is our number. And we got that number really fast. And they said, okay, let's accept it. I was like, no, I think I can push it a little higher. We kept pushing and we got $26,000 over asking. They were happy getting $5,000 over. And they were like at the point where like, what if we lose these buyers? What happens if we lose this contract?
Right.
I said, we have multiple contracts, right? So let me negotiate. I'm having fun. I really have fun when I'm negotiating. And my clients reap the benefit of it. But it's not about money in the sense like money has to be, it's about that negotiation part. And negotiation is not about always getting the top dollar and not giving something to them, right? It's we negotiate. When I'm negotiating. I'm trying to find out what the other side needs. So long time ago, when I was working at Shell, they sent me for a training, negotiation training. And I don't remember anything from that class. It was 1 day class. And only thing I remember at the end of the day, the instructor said, if you haven't learned anything from me today, one thing I want you to remember, the best deal is not the deal where you get up from the table, walk away thinking you got the last penny out of it. Best deal is when both parties get up from the table and leave the table thinking you got what you needed and wanted. That's the best advice I had ever gotten. So when I negotiated, it's not about like, oh, this is my last dollar. I was like, I will do this for your client if you do this for my client, right? So for me, it's getting the highest number for seller and lowest number for my buyer. But I'm always giving something to the other side to make it work. And that's why my deals get accepted or my offers get accepted. Oh, your client wants to live in there for 3 more months? Okay, so we will close it. We are going to do the lease separately and your clients can go do it. And then I go back to my client and it's like, hey, you can still stay in your home or whatever, right? Or I have a furnished home. You can move in over there, but we can get this home at this price. And they're still paying all your mortgage and taxes and everything. So nothing is coming out of your pocket because we are renting it. They are going to rent it and they're going to pay for it. But that's how you get this home, right? And now this is like, oh, fantastic. I can live over here for 3 months. I have already closed. I have the money. I can go find something else for myself. Everybody's happy. But I have a tool. I have those furnished homes that I can put my home clients into, and they're okay with that, right? So you have to move a lot of pieces to make things happen. And as long as you're willing to do that, money is going to come.
So let me ask you a related question, because this is an interesting one in terms of, I mean, this is the emotional gymnastics, right? So we talk about that, the mental and emotional side. As agents, a lot of agents' income goes up and down. You've got this real estate roller coaster. I have a feeling like I've had years where I've done really, really well and years where I've done average. But no matter what I'm doing, I'm just wired, or at least I'd tell myself I'm wired. Maybe you can help me shift this. I feel like I'm just wired to have some level of anxiety about money in the back of my mind, either in the forefront or in the back of my mind. Do you ever have those sort of anxieties about money, or are you not even wired like that? And if so, how do other people shift that?
Okay, so I think life experiences. So I used to be. You and I have talked about my life so many times, so you know about so much about me.
People watching haven't heard about it, so
right. So remember, I told you when I was in corporate America, I wanted to leave, and I stayed 3 years too long. Those last 3 years, I was miserable. I was not very good employee because I wasn't giving it 110%. I wanted to have my sanctuary, just take care of my dogs, but what they call golden shackles kept me there. That was the anxiety about money, that if I leave my job, it was really, really well-paid job, right? So, I mean, there was I cannot complain about how well I was treated and how well I was paid. So geologists get paid really well. And leaving that job was really hard for me at that time because I was worried about money. I was, like everybody else, very concentrated on money because money paid the bills, money paid everything, right? Then it came to a point that I could not take it anymore. So I walked away. And then I was just like, okay, I have enough savings and I'm going to start other business. And I do not have business background. My family doesn't have a business background. I did not even know what business needed at that time. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to start a sustainable living institute. I have a sanctuary over there. We're going to start a sustainable living institute. And people came, but people who are interested in the sustainable living, I'm talking about 15 years ago, they were the small group of people, right? Same people are coming for your classes. And this was not a very lucrative business. Then I did the yoga studio because I went to India and got my yoga certification, and I was teaching yoga to cancer patients and all that kind of thing. Didn't work out. Then I was like, okay, in 2 years, I ran out of money and I was really stressed about money. So I was like, I can always go back. Geologists are always in demand. But before I do that, let me try the real estate investment, because I had invested in real estate while I was at Shell, just as a hobby. So I would get bored. I would go buy a house. I will get it rehabbed, renovated, flip it, make 20,000, 30,000, put it in the sanctuary, happy, and then go and work on my projects. So that's the only other skill I had, unless until I wanted to go back to school and get something else. Like I didn't have a choice.
Right.
So I went back into real estate investment and flipped a couple of homes, I think 3 homes. And by that third one, I was like, I'm so happy. I'm making money. It's paying my bills. I'm not going back. And from there, because I had already made some calls to my past colleagues, my ex-managers and all those kind of things, they are calling now and they're saying, hey, we thought you were coming back. What happened? I said, oh, no, I'm making good money. This is what's going on. It's paying the bills. So I'm not doing it. I'm not coming back. I'm happy. And from there, it's like people started calling, can you help me buy a home? And most of them were buyers, my past colleagues and everybody who wanted to see if I could help them get a deal, because everybody started talking about if Priyanka's not coming back, she's making money because she's an investor, she knows about real estate. Then I had to get my own real estate license to help them. And it was only going to help my friends, my close past colleagues kind of thing. And then 3 or 4 years later, right after having my license, doing deals for myself and only family and friends, my accountant called and said, oh, you did really good this year. I was like, yeah. She's like, no, on your brokerage side. I said, what do you mean? And when she gave me the number, I was like, what? I only worked for 3 or 4 months in summer. Most of them were deals that came or calls that came to me, right? So clients that came to me, I never went asked for that. And I made this kind of money, while investment side is where I'm going out and looking for properties and actively, doing that business. And this business was literally passive business. Somebody calls me, it's like, hey, so-and-so told me about you. I'm looking to buy a home. Can you help? And most of them were buyers in the starting. Right. So I said, oh, I need to put some more effort into it because this is a great business. Because I have made money. And that's what I'm saying. Money comes. When I was so frustrated about money and looking for money, it didn't come. Once I walked away from that, now I just like, okay, so if I do something, usually it's afterwards that I realize it's making money. So my Airbnb business, I call it Airbnb because people know that. So it was a corporate rental business. I did not know I was making money. I was just solving problems. And then accountants are coming, was like, hey, you're doing good income kind of thing.
But can I pause you for a sec? Because it's not even about, because oftentimes you hear people talking about their passion. This wasn't like your passion. This was just, you love solving problems. You were focused on how do I solve the problem? And that was your passion.
Right. So all of these businesses came because of like I had a problem or somebody else had a problem and I was just trying to solve it. And it's always afterwards that I look back and say, oh, we are making good money. Great job. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know how to solve your anxiety problem. I used to be anxious, not anymore. Now I'm just going hey, so like with COVID, real estate was completely dead, right? And this business was picking up, but I was not thinking of it as a business. I was like, the elderly people who need to be with their pets, and now the COVID hit. So even with that, it was closed up because nobody was moving. So people were not coming in. Once things started opening up around July or August, suddenly I was bombarded, with calls, people trying to move their parents from big facilities, from homes or wherever. And then suddenly it's like we are looking at it and there's like, oh, this is a business, right? But it didn't start as a business. So, and it's still going to be taken care of as a passion. So money is side effect. So I'm still not looking at it as like, oh, it's a business. I need to make more money. I was like, wow, we're making good money, but we are still going to take care of people because that's why this business was started.
So interesting.
And then real estate, right? So let's talk about real estate.
Okay.
We have 7 listings coming up. I haven't made a single call for those 7 listings. All those listings have come to me by themselves because these are past clients or friend or past client's neighbor, one of them. She said, I forced her to list with you because she said like she's listing and we have become good friends. So I told her like, nope, you need to go to Priyanka. So she will call you. I have already set it up, list her house. Other 6 are my past clients that have bought from me. And I told you, I don't stay in touch with my clients that much. They stay in touch with me. I'm so grateful. They all are involved in my sanctuary or my assisted living some way or another. They are passionate. I attract really nice people.
Yeah,
luckily in my life.
but
That
this ties into the whole thing. So if money is a byproduct, money is a side, you've dedicated your life to things that you love, and so you're attracting clients that are also drawn to the same things that you love. Or even if they don't necessarily, if they're not passionate about, like, so if you guys are watching this and you don't know Priyanka's passions, they are dogs in this order, right? What are your passions? We have dogs,
elderly, and kids.
Yep. And also an investment property, right? Like investing. So I
investing is more of a hobby, right? So it's like, it's not passion in the sense like, oh my God, like I would lose sleep for dogs or my elderly.
Right.
I won't lose sleep over my investments, right? But investment is more like the creative outlet for me, like taking an ugly duckling and making it beautiful. And then, wow, in the end, you make money out of it.
But just doing the things you love with your, so you run the assisted care facilities, you have your dog sanctuaries. Just by doing those, is it through social media that your past clients are involved in, or do they just call you to talk about them because they want to know? How are your clients involved with these?
So a lot of my elderly clients are not on social media.
Right.
So they actually pick up a phone and call like, hey, how's this going on? How's that? I have one client, he's a pastor, right? And his niece is a real estate agent, and he used me and not her. So, right? And in Houston, his niece is in Houston. So it's not like, oh, she was out of town or something.
Right.
And he says like, God sent me your way. You are going to be my realtor and you're going to find me a home. And I did. He does not use social media. He does not even text. So he picks up his phone, and he's elderly. He picks up his phone and he calls me, and he's just like, hey, I was thinking of you. It's been 2-3 months. I just planted new rose bushes. Remember you told me about hummingbirds in the area. So I have hung the hummingbird feeder. Just,
That's awesome.
Very normal, friendly conversation.
Interesting. All right. So any other, I mean, I don't want to go in circles on this, but I'll make sure we get everything out there, because you had such a strong reaction when I said money is energy, and you're like, no, it's not energy. Is there anything else you want to make sure we communicate today? Or
I want realtors to seriously, please do not stop, writing down how much money you want to make, that 100,000, 200,000, $1 million kind of thing. Stop writing about how many transactions you want to do kind of thing. Just do whatever you love, whatever you're passionate about, and do it well. When you have a client, take care of them, right? My clients, just because real estate is not my passion and haggling is, doesn't mean I don't take care of my clients. My clients love me and I love my clients. That I will lose sleep over if I think they are not getting what they deserve or need. I fight with my clients. Like, my clients and I have a great relationship. When they become my clients, they become family. So I treat them just like my friends and my family. And they treat me the same thing. I have taken clients out of the homes that they wanted to buy. It's like, nope, this is not your home. I don't think so. Either some investor has done the updates and it's not done correctly, or it's overpriced, or I'm looking at the house and it's not done well. It has a lot of issues kind of thing. I have forced clients to buy. I had a client that I actually forced them to buy a house without seeing it, because market was really hot in 2013, and we were looking at the homes when they were here, and they were relocation clients. They had to go back. They didn't like anything. And then one day I got up, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going through the list, and there was a new home. I said, oh my God, this is their home. And they were already have flown back. So I called them and said, I found a home. We need to make an offer now. Like, I'm preparing an offer. I'm sending you the pictures, and we will do the video conference, and I will walk through it, but we need to make an offer like in next hour. And they were really scared. I prepared the offer. I said, I'm going over there. We're going to do the walkthrough, and you're going to DocuSign it. And we are submitting our offer. And they said, what if we don't like it when we get over here? I was like, I'll buy it. Right? So it's like, I love this home so much. I think this is your home, but if you don't like it, I'll buy it.
Wow.
They didn't see the house until the day of closing. So 1 hour before closing, their plane landed. They came over 1 hour before closing. They were here and said, okay, let's go look at it real quick, and then we will go and sign the papers at title work.
Were you nervous that they weren't going to like it?
No, because I was ready to buy. It was a great deal. So what attracted me, the house was fantastic. It had everything that they wanted. I knew what their vision was, right? And then it was priced lower than the market because it was a divorce case.
Right.
So by the time I went and searched so these are a couple of things that I do that are different. I went to my county website, pulled up the address, pulled up the seller's name. Then I went to other records, county records, and put the seller's name to see what was going on. Was there a death in the family, a divorce, something? So I found the divorce paperwork that was filed. So I knew that was a distressed sale.
Oh, that is so smart. I've never thought to do that. That's really smart.
So I have a lot of these little things that I do, kind of, that gives me an edge. And now just I gave it to the whole country. But so once I found out that it's a distressed sale, so this is the investor side and it's investor experience coming in. I called the realtor. I said like, hey, so I saw the listing. I think my client is going to really like it. What can I do for your seller that will make it work for them? And she's like, I don't know. This is little. I did not tell her that I know it was a divorce case. She's like, I don't know. I know this is little stressful right now for them. And I will talk to them. And I told her, my clients are out of town, so they're very flexible. We can close in 15 days. We can close in 15 months, whatever it takes. We can help your client. Just let them know that. And then come back to us. So wife wanted to move out. Husband wanted to stay there during the closing process. They wanted, instead of 30-day closing, they wanted 60-day closing. And then there were certain items in the house, right, that they said, like, the husband needs it because he's going to stay until the last day. But then he was flying out to a different part of the country and they did not know what to do. And I told them, leave whatever you want to leave in the house. We will get it cleaned and cleared for my client. Don't worry about it. I was making their life easy, right? And then a couple of other things came up and I was like, no problem. We'll take care of it. Because my client was getting such a great deal. And all I had to do was, once they moved out, send my guys, the handyman with the trailer, pick everything up, take it to the donation center for women's shelter, gave it to them, have my cleaning lady go in, clean everything up. By the time my clients came, house was ready, utility was turned on. All they needed to do was move in.
And you created that solution for this one.
Yeah.
But so back to the story. So they showed up 1 hour before closing. So what happened when they got there?
They loved it. They just they walked in, looked around, walked to the backyard. I said, oh my God, this is our home. And they still live there. I'm telling them let's sell it now. Market is really high. And they're like, nope.
I love that. I've had people that are writing offers on homes from far away that have been, sight unseen, but I always made them fly out and look at it before, removing contingencies before closing it. That's bold. I love it. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I like it.
So I will never have my client buy something that I am not willing to buy from them.
Right. Wow.
I want to be 100% confident that this is their home and it's a good deal. There's only one time in my life that I have allowed client to buy a home and they regretted it. It was really bad home. They had this particular architecture in mind. And this was outside how the house supposed to look. And we looked at so many things over here. I think we looked at 39 homes. There was only one home. And I knew the investor who had bought it and updated it. And I said, he does a really crappy job. Please don't buy this home. That's the only home they liked. We went there 3 times. And I kept saying it. And they said, we take full responsibility for buying this home. And they bought it. They lived in here only 3 years. And they spent so much money in fixing things. And it was so stressful for them. They even had a water leak where the mold was going under the, wood floors and everything. Right. And they had to move out to one of my furnished rentals for 9 months. And ultimately they said, we made a biggest mistake by not listening to you. And they sold it.
And in hindsight, and I'm kind of taking us down a rabbit hole, but we got a couple minutes before we wrap this up. I'm just really curious because I've heard you say this before. Those clients look back and they totally agreed with you. But you said you fight with clients sometimes to do you actually fight with them or do they appreciate it in the moment? Or is it later that they look back and they appreciate it?
Later. At that time, it's very heated and emotional. I'm a very emotional person and I'm very reactive. right? And it's usually afterwards, not at that time, but I haven't lost a client over it.
I was just going to say, so how do you not lose clients? Do they know that you have your heart in the right place, or what makes them stick around?
I think they know my passion, and it's not that we fight at the first time, right? So we are working through the transaction, and they have spent enough time with me. I think they know that I'm passionate about things, and I'm passionate about everything. So when I get angry about something and I'm fighting, it may be like, I think once or twice clients was like, we are the ones buying a home, or we are the ones like, this is our home that you're going, like, if I'm like, oh, we need to fix this before we can list it. Like, I'm not listing it until you do it, kind of thing. I had a physician who was like, he was a surgeon, very hard-headed, and he went through 3 different realtors before coming to me. That was 1.5 years, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. And he was looking for me because I had done something for him way before. Anyway, so I told him that I'm not listing his house until we declutter and I stage it and he fixes certain things in the house. And the house is beautiful. And my wife selected this furniture. I said, I don't care if I selected it. People who are looking for the homes in this area right now are a younger couple. They don't like this style. So we went back and forth for almost 10 days. And I said, I'm not listing it. Find another realtor. And I walked out of the house and he called next day morning. He said, then you have to do everything you want me to do because I don't have time. I said, that's fine. Give me the key. And I took care of everything. I got it fixed. I got it decluttered. I moved his stuff and he came in and said, what did you do to that table? I told you that was really nice. I was like, yeah, it's sitting in the garage. You can go and see it every day. I didn't move it to the storage, but it's not coming in the house until we have a contract. And we sold that house in 1 day.
I love it. I can't help but laugh every time because you and I are wired so differently. And I'm picturing how I would handle some of these interactions, but your clients love you, right? And that's the thing for anybody watching this, right? Like,
so he was a surgeon, right? I have a lot of doctors, surgeons, lawyers, clients. They are very A personality like me. We are very straightforward, right? What's on our mind comes out. So my clients, a lot of times, a lot of realtors get stressed about it. Like, oh, we have an engineer client or we have a doctor client or surgeon. They think they're God. It's not exactly that they think they're God. They know their mind and they think they're right most of the time until someone comes along like me and it's like, you know your job, I know mine. That's why you're hiring. I'll save you time. So let me do my job. And they're fine with it. Right. But somebody has to tell it to them. And they will mull it over and they will come around and say, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is a fun discussion today, Priyanka. I love this. So my takeaways from talking to Priyanka is, and by the way, if you like writing down your goals, do what you do. But I see Priyanka's point, which is stop writing down how much money you're going to make. Stop writing down how many sides you're going to sell and get focused on the stuff you love that you're passionate about. And the rest comes as a byproduct. I think that's really good. It's hard to argue with that. I thought I was going to push back and tell you, no, you do need to, but like, I like that.
I know, because when we started, I knew you were and you told me that I'm going to push you back on that. So.
Well, I thought I was, but it doesn't, it works. And so if you really look at money as the byproduct, I also think from an anxiety standpoint, right? Because I am wired towards, I worry about money. If you continue to reframe money as a byproduct and focus on other things, it allows that anxiety to come down a little bit about money. I really do think it does help.
Jesse, how many times you have lost money in your life or like lost everything and had to restart?
I've never actually lost everything, but I've had some phases that were pretty rough. So at least 2 phases I've had that were in transition where I've never been like everything out, but pretty rough twice.
Okay. So I have a lot of times. So I used to be a pilot. I walked away from that. I made good money, right? And I went from making really good money to nothing because I was miserable at that job. Then I got into petroleum industry. I made really good money and walked away. And then in 2 years, I lost everything. I was going into foreclosure. And I think that has given me confidence knowing that I have lost everything and built up something from nothing. And if I have done it once, twice, 3 times, I can do it again. And that may be another life experience bringing me to the point, like I'm not worried about money because, I lost it before and I made it, so I can do it again.
Right.
That may be little
Is there a way that people, and maybe we'll wrap it up here. Is there a way that people can gain that perspective without having to lose everything? Or do you just have to go through that experience where you lose everything?
No, that's what I'm sharing, right? Yeah. Something like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. Yeah. If you are passionate about something and you're good at it, if you're passionate about something, you're going to be good at it, right? If you're going to go and do something because it's going to make you money and you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be good at it. Maybe you get lucky, but most of the time, I think you are not going to be as good as something else that you are passionate about, right? So if you're going to find something that you're passionate about and do it, and you're really good at it, it's going to attract money. I mean, just like, whole world over here, that's what ends up with, like, way of being. So that's why I brought up, like, even artists, because I know friends who are doing really well on Etsy, and it was their hobby, and they had other jobs. Like, I have a nurse who went to school for nursing, making jewelry and making good money on Etsy, because that's what she's passionate about. This is her hobby, but that gives her joy, and she's really good at it.
I love it. Priyanka, this is a fun conversation as always. I am glad that you came to hang out with me. And you know what? It was funny as we're talking, this is with COVID, I forgot you were wearing the mask, right? Like you just get used to talking to someone, you're just chatting.
Say it again?
I said, I forgot you were even wearing a mask. I was like, I just looked, I was like, oh, she had a mask on the whole time.
Right. And I'm just so passionate about, like, so my voice brings a lot of emotion out.
Totally. Well, anyone watching, if you guys have questions, we'll be tagged in the post. You can ask us questions if there's anything. I kept an eye on the chat box. Thank you guys for being here. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. Kathy, thank you. She said, great session. So bye guys. Bye, Priyanka. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Always fun, Jesse. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Priyanka. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.